On Politics Social, and I'm Graham Hughes. Welcome to everyone in the chat. We've got Billy in there, we've got Stephanie, Anthony, Alec, we've got Katrina, Plum Duff, Gareth T, we've got Maureen in there, Lofty the Softy. Hello, one and all. If you'd like to join the chat, if you'd like to join the debate, please subscribe to the channel. Simple as that, and wait a minute, and then you'll be able to write things, and it'll come up on the screen. Please don't be horrible, and no trolling. Right, okay, so let's get on with it. Not a great weekend, not a great week for Britain or British politics or the British character, I guess. Well, let's say English more than British. There weren't any disturbances, I don't think, in Wales or in Scotland. It was mostly concentrated in England. There were some disturbances in Belfast as well, though. So over the weekend, whipped up by the likes of Nigel Farage and Tommy Ten Names, who is currently sunning himself in sunny Cyprus while his foot soldiers go to jail for between 10 and 20 years for partaking in riots. And they were riots, no matter what the BBC want people to think by saying, no, these were just protests, therefore putting them on the same level as the protests against Brexit, the protests against climate change happening. Not really the same. A protester walks down the street with a placard saying, down with this kind of thing, careful now, whereas a rioter throws bricks at the police. They burn down libraries, like what happened at the Spellow Hub on County Road in Liverpool on Saturday night. They tried to burn down hotels, buildings with innocent people inside. Well, just people inside. Doesn't matter whether they're innocent or not. People inside the building. Women and children were inside that Holiday Inn in Rotherham yesterday that the mob tried to burn down. And this is the kind of terrorism, the kind of fascist terrorism that the likes of Farage and Tice and Andy Wigmore and Isabel and Oak Shit and Katie Hopkins, Tommy Ten Names, and all those absolute loser Fox, all of those cretins have been pushing for years. Again, it's very much the rich and the powerful, the elites, telling the Tommies like soldiers, not like the people in charge, to run over into the minefield while they sit behind behind the lines, a long way behind the lines, drinking cognac and smoking cigars. And Farage has made no attempt to quell the riots. He's actually added fuel to the fire, arguably. And Tommy Ten Names, very interesting that he might whinge about the fact that he's been doxxed by the Daily Mail when he was the one who actually put up a message saying, here's the places to go and riot and smash stuff up. And one of those places was the Holiday Inn in Rotherham, which was attacked yesterday. Now, that could have ended in horrific scenes of people actually burning to death if the mob had their way. And then you've got the usual apologists for genocide who'll sit there and say, well, these are genuine concerns. Genuine concerns. All right, so if I'm genuinely concerned about Brexit, does that give me a right to smash down the window of Greggs and rob a tray of sausage rolls? I don't think it does. I really don't think it does. Anyway, there's going to be a meeting today, a COBRA meeting, Cabinet Office Briefing Room A, and that's going to bring together the Cabinet, politicians, it's going to bring together police officers, police chiefs, and others to discuss our response to this, the country's response. Some people are saying recall Parliament. I don't know about that. I don't know what recalling Parliament will do effectively. I feel this is more something that the executive need to take a control of rather than the legislative right now, because it's not like we need more legislation. We need action. That's what we need right now. So that's just my own opinion on it. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong and tell me why in the chat, and we'll discuss it further. But as things stand, the Keir Starmer's had to cut short his holiday, while Tommy Ten Names, Stephen Laxley Lennon, the immigrant from Ireland, the anti-immigration immigrants. There's lots of them, aren't there? People who live in Spain who whinge about all the immigrants in Britain. Yes. So Tommy Ten Names didn't have to cut his holiday short, but the Prime Minister did, as a result of these riots that were orchestrated by the upper echelons of our society, if you want to call them that, the elites, the privately educated fuckwits like Nigel Farage and Andy Wigmore and Richard Tice and Loser Fox and Katie Hopkins all got something in common, guys. You know what they've all got in common, don't you? Yeah, they all went to private school. And they send their mob out to attack a Citizens Advice Bureau in Hartlepool and a library in Liverpool. A community centre that was set up to help one of the most deprived areas in the country, if not in our continent. And yet, he's there sunning himself, Tommy 10 Names, on his beach with loads of cocaine up his nose, not giving a shit. He's made millions out of this. And let's not forget, he's got Russian connections as well. Yeah, he spent a while in Russia in 2020. Look it up, February 2020. Tommy Robinson. Absolute scum. From top to bottom. Scott Walton, thank you very much for the super chat there. Farage demanding a recall of Parliament so he can attend like last time. That he wants to be involved in a discussion. He wants to stand up and make some twatty speech about how we deserve this, how Britain deserves this, because this has gone on too long. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Wink, wink, dog whistle, dog whistle. Gareth T, thank you very much for the super chat. I'm expecting new guests, however. We have bars in every room. We also have a river alongside so they can watch the world go by. Bars in every room. I like that. Thank you very much to Gareth T, who works in a jail. So, just something as well before I start reading your messages in earnest. I want to say, like in 2011, we had riots in the summer of 2011. And this was, condemned at the time. It was just a bunch of scallies who wanted to rob flat screen TVs from Currys, or whatever Currys is calling itself these days. And they had the book thrown at them. Like, seriously, they were put in jail for a very, very long time. There was no muckadoodling. And do you know who was the director of public prosecutions in 2011? A certain upcoming young barrister, politician, QC then, by the name of Keir Starmer. So, the courts are going to be open 24 hours to process all of these rioters. They will be identified, each and every one of them, because they're so stupid they don't realise that if you go anywhere with your phone, you're going to be geolocated to wherever you went with your phone. And that information is not just stored on your phone, it's stored on the internet, thanks to Google. Thanks, Google, for watching our every move. Anyway, so, hopefully book thrown at them, because we just had a situation a couple of weeks ago in which a group of climate protesters who attended a Zoom meeting encouraging people to go and try and stop the M25, a non-violent protest, went to jail for between 4 and 5 years each. So, with Keir Starmer being in charge of the country now, I can see the book being thrown at these rioters, and they could be doing 10 to 20 stretches off the back of this. So I hope those sausage rolls were worth it, mate. You absolute clanging dickhead. Anyway, right. Moving on. Right. So can I... I missed one. Sorry, Anthony. I missed your super chat. I will rectify that now. Can we make a group to report social media accounts on mass real ones who are actively involved? I saw one that was giving links to pew-pews. That means weapons, I think. Anthony Fisher, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Yes. I think that we should do that. That sounds like a good idea. Maybe we should have a discussion on it on Discord afterwards. I haven't been on Discord for ages. Sorry, I'm still under the weather. I'm still not feeling 100%. I really wanted to do an episode of how we fixed Britain yesterday, but I just wasn't up to it. So I'm hoping I'm going to get better soon, so that the content on this channel improves. Because I feel like I've been letting you down for the last month, because I've been doing the absolute bare minimum I can still get away with and still call it a rolling channel with new stuff almost every day. But I'm feeling like after the election I really should have hit the ground running, and that's something that I really haven't done. And I apologise. I apologise profusely. I just wish I wasn't ill. Everyone's getting ill. Like a lot of my friends are getting ill at the moment. I think it's I think it's the Russians. Right. Lucy Willis says they only trash what they like. That's why in Hull they trashed Greg's and the O2 phone shop, but left Waterstones alone. Yeah, came home from holiday to nationwide riots and mice in my kitchen, 2 types of vermin, says Nicky and Diff. You're not wrong. Recall of Parliament for short term, maybe a few days. Use virtual for those unable to attend, said did. Yeah, but that would give the opportunity for the likes of Tice and Farage, who stirred up these riots in the first place, to actually talk in Parliament, and I don't think they should be given that platform. Sodom. I think this is the time for action, not discussion. But I think that anyone who has placed anyone in the public eye who has put lies, misinformation on the internet, saying that the brutal killer of these girls, 3 little girls, murdered in Southport last Monday, saying that he was came across on a boat, saying that he was a migrant. The people who said that should face lengthy jail sentences because they are as culpable, if not more culpable, than the climate protesters who literally didn't attend the protest themselves. They just organised it using a Zoom call. I think that the same if the worst sentences need to come to these people, and that does include Lawrence Fox and Nigel Farage and Richard Tice. Lock them up. That's what I say. These people are a danger to the fabric of our society. These people saying, oh no, this is the problem. You're not listening to the common people. You're not listening to the ordinary people. While they eat swans and slurp down the caviar. These horrible, rancid, scumbag, inbred neo-aristocrats like Farage, they don't care about the people actually fighting on the streets on their behalf. They don't care what happens to them. They don't care about the police who are injured. They don't care about the libraries being burnt down or citizens' advice bureaus or hotels. They don't give a shit. All they care about is the grift, is their fascist grift. Making money, making more money. Oh yes, they love their money. But the idea that they're speaking on behalf of the ordinary person is preposterous in 2 ways. One of which is that they are posh knobs who have never lived in the real world. But the big other thing is we had an election last month to which over 500 of the 650 available seats went to representatives of progressive parties. So these fascists on our streets are a vanishing minority. And we've seen that. I mean, there's only been a few hundred people on the streets at any of these skirmishes. It's not that many. It's nowhere near the numbers that we had when we were protesting against Brexit, when we had hundreds of thousands of people on the streets. It's nowhere near that. It's not even anywhere near the Countryside Alliance marches of 20 years ago. You know, these people who have gone out to riot, they don't really have the critical faculties, shall I say, to really understand what's going on in the world and in their own backyard, by the looks of things, by the people who burnt the library down in Walton on Saturday night. So Scarlett Jones says, my comments have been paused for apparently violating community guidelines, which I dispute. I still see the comments of racists and xenophobes that support the violence. I'm really sorry about that, Scarlett. Is that on this channel? Can you let me know? I'll try and I'll make you a mod or something so you can write what you want. Johan, maybe the UK should put out an international arrest warrant for Tommy 10 names. Yes, I think they should. I think they absolutely should arrest him on holiday, bring him back and put him in jail. Put the bastard in jail. Put that immigrant who hates immigrants, Irish, Tommy 10 names, Stephen Laxley Yennon, millionaire cokehead, put him in jail. Got £10 super chat. Thank you very much. Just jump down to that. John C, thank you. Thanks, Graham. My sons are young mixed-race men who have experienced abuse throughout their lives from the usual idiots. My brother admitted to voting reform this year. Feel totally let down by him. Oh, mate, I'm so sorry. That's like finding out like your family members voted for Brexit when you're married to someone from another European country. And they're like, don't mean you. We don't mean you. It's not about you. They always say that, don't they? I'm really sorry, mate. I don't know how I'll deal with that myself. One Angry Pagan says, Graham, they were stopping cars to check the driver's colour of skin. It's a damned programme. Yeah, this was one of the other disgusting things that happened this weekend. They were literally letting people through if the drivers of the car were white, and in certain circumstances, when the drivers of the car weren't white, the cars were attacked. These people need to be locked away for a very, very long time for the sake of society. But also, the ringleaders, the Nigel Farages of this world need to be locked away for a very long time as well. A very, very, very long time. I think 50 years is a minimum for what they've done, putting police officers' lives in danger in this way. Don't forget what happened to our friend Patsy Stevenson. She was attacked by the police at a peaceful vigil for a murdered woman who was murdered by a police officer. And they weren't attacking the police. They weren't kicking, screaming, throwing missiles. They were holding candles, and they were attacked by the police. So, if the fascist wonks want to talk about two-tier policing, which is what I think Farage has done now, talking about Black Lives Matter. He put out a statement talking about Black Lives Matter. That thing that happened like 5-6 years ago. All right, mate, yeah, settle down, dickhead. And he's there. Oh, sorry, it was 4 years ago, wasn't it? It was 2020. He's there basically just saying, oh, well, these things happen. Like some weird mob boss turning up at someone's house and knocking things off the mantelpiece, going, oh, you wouldn't want anything to break, would you? While he extorts a family or, blackmails someone to do a horrific crime. And these crimes were horrific that happened over the last few days, and I want the book thrown at these people, and if you do too, then we're in good company. Yvonne, thank you very much to Yvonne Okafor for the super chat. That's very kind of you. There's going to be a lot of jobs and homes up for grabs. Might help people like me trying to find a place, even if I live in London. Yes, because when you go to jail, you don't get to keep your home really. So. There's going to be a lot of empty houses. A few hundred. Anthony Fisher, thank you very much. I've sent you link to the account via email. Thanks very much for that, Anthony. I'll take a look at that. And Alistair Kerr says, did any riots happen elsewhere in the UK, like Wales? No, not that I know of. There were none in Wales. Thanks very much for the super chat there, Alistair. And there were none in Scotland, but there were disturbances in Belfast and some really weird scenes of fascists from Dublin joining the fascists from Belfast and walking down the street together, one with the Irish tricolour and the other one, or tricolour, and the other one with the flag of St. George. Weird. It's like, I hate black people, you hate black people. But yeah, let's blow the whole world up. And yeah, immortal enemies brought together by their mutual manufactured hatred of people from other countries. It's just, or not even people from other countries, people who have a heritage from other places, which, God, it's so frustrating. These nativist dickheads who have never left their little town or suburb. They've never, they've not seen the world apart from going on holiday and pointing at, someone made the joke about this. These people who go on about immigration, who go to Spain on holiday and they point at a picture of fish and chips, of egg and chips, and that's, the people moaning about people going to other countries. We need people from other countries to come here. I delight and welcome in people coming from other countries. And look, this is not going to be very politically correct. It's not going to be very woke, what I'm about to say. So sorry if it offends anyone. And I won't name any countries specifically, but the countries that I visited on my journey around the world that were, let's say, the most isolated from the rest of the world, tended to not have particularly aesthetically, how am I going to say this without sounding like the worst twat ever, but basically countries that have a very good mix of people from all over the world, generally, from what I saw when I was there for a few days or a few weeks, they tend to be better looking. Can I say that? I'm going to get shouted at now. Everyone's going to take their super chats back. I find that countries that only have people from those countries in those countries, that absolutely eschew any kind of idea of immigration or the mixing of different races, which I find abhorrent because we are all one race. We are all the human race. But there are a few places that I went to where you'll meet people who are a mix of African, European, Asian, even Australasian, and oh my God, there were some very beautiful people in those countries. All I'm saying. I think it's good for the gene pool. Can I put it that way? Can I sound like less of a twat if I say it that way? I think it's good for the gene pool to be more than, I don't know, 56 sets of DNA in a given place. And I'll say that as well for cities and towns in the UK. The whiter they get, the more minging they get. Like, seriously, you go somewhere where there's like 99% white people, there's a lot of mingers. Whereas you go somewhere where it's a bit more mixed, hey, there's good looking people there. What can I say? I'm gonna get in trouble now. Graham, the village idiot, came out for that inbreeding, says Stephanie. Yeah, I'm getting putting 4 people per room, squalor. Yeah. You are right, says Yvonne. I hope. Yeah. Anyway, less diversity equals weaker gene pool. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I'm trying to be nice as possible by in the way that I put this. And I probably shouldn't say that. Oh my God, these monocultures around the UK or anywhere in the world. God, yeah, I prefer the mixed ones. I prefer multiculturalism. Just in terms of, yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it. So basically, you're calling me an uggos. No, not you, Moncho. Not individually. I'm just saying collectively, it's a good idea to have a wider gene pool. I think. I don't know. Scott Walton, now we know why Graham really went round the world. Naughty boy. Yeah, it was to check out the totty. Thanks so much for that, Scott. Thanks for the super chat. Not quite. It was what. If it was one of many reasons. No, it wasn't. Black skin, blue-eyed boys by the Equals comes to mind, says Christopher Bowles. The town in Derbyshire that cut itself off during the plague, they're all inbred now, says. I feel like I've opened a whole can of worms here, haven't I? Let's not forget these people will have bought their beer from the local corner shop, ordered a Just Eat when they got home, cheering when the new signing from overseas scores at the footy. And Alan's pointing out Japan. I was thinking about Japan when I was saying all that because, yeah, there's some very, very good-looking people from Japan, I have to say. And that's not a particularly mixed group over there. So but let's let Japan be the exception to the rule. Can we do that? Can we? And I don't forget, there's 120 million Japanese people, whereas there's not that many people in Lincoln. One angry pagan in Exeter. I grew around people of many backgrounds. Yet we Devonians get looked down for being country bumpkins. Well, I think you get looked down on by the people who buy their holiday homes in Cornwall, who only spend 2 weeks there a year, and it's one of the reasons why the Cornish economy is so sluggish at times when the tourists aren't there. And I can see why the locals get upset with that, and then the response to the locals getting upset with that is going to be this kind of idea that, oh, you're all country bumpkins. I'm from the big city. But if you can afford a second house and Anyway, so moving on. Socialists, we should call these what they are, programs, with the only exception they are not supported by the government. Yes, I mean, the whole thing is they don't want anyone who's not white on this rock, on this mossy, wet rock in the North Atlantic. They want ethnic purity in the same way that the Nazis wanted ethnic purity, social Darwinism. And the ironic thing is that a lot of the people I saw on videos over the weekend, if we did have social Darwinism, how can I put this? They wouldn't survive. Just saying. Soylent Green, or whatever Soylent colour was used for animal feed. B says, which ethnic group has the best genes? None of them. They all have good genes which are improved by mixing. Have a look at people at the Olympics. There's a lot of mixed race people at the Olympics who do really, really well, who absolutely excel in their particular field, and it's because they're not inbred, innit? Has anyone done a rough count of how many protesters in total? Says Billy Kershaw. I don't know, a couple of thousand, if that. I mean, I've been looking at footage and reports and that. There's only been 147 arrests when I last looked. It might have gone up since then. It might be 200 now. This morning, I think there were a few dawn raids. One Angry Pagan says Devon and Cornwall Graham. Yes, sorry, both of them. The foot of the country. I've never been to Cornwall, One Angry Pagan. I'm sorry to tell you that. I've never been to Stonehenge either. Two things I really need to tick them up my bucket list, considering I've been to, like, I don't know, the Stonehenge of Tonga, but I haven't actually been to Stonehenge, in my own country. So at some point, I'll do that. Skylar says, people inciting race hatred and xenophobia are still commenting. YouTube blocking me from commenting without telling me what it is I said that constitutes hate speech seems arbitrary and unjust. Skylar, it's people reporting what you've written, and then they just use AI because obviously they don't have enough people to actually read through all the comments. So if I were you, instead of responding to these idiots, report them, and so that their comments get deleted. This chat should have been called "How Can I Put This?" Yeah, indeed. One silver lining, if you want to put it that way. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been so much